Hi, welcome back to Rock Your Style Wednesdays. I'm Linda Buckman, and I help women feel empowered in their bodies and rock their personal style. Today in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about something really big, really important, something I've kept a secret for quite a long time, but is being revealed through the women that I work with, and just recently started this fabulous group program called Friend Your Body to Rock Your Style, in which these women get a personal VIP call with me where they learn their planetary body type. And knowing your planetary body type, I trust you will it will blow your mind when you learn what your planetary body type is. And the reason for that is in this style system that I created, you will really find a connection and a reason for loving your body, a connection to your body and a reason to celebrate your body, in knowing that your body is built to support you and your talents and gifts. And this system brings them all together. So before I explain them, these seven body types, I'm going to give you a brief review of them, and then I'm going to post some pictures after this of the planetary types. I want to talk to you about a conversation I had this morning with a client, and we were going over what she says to herself when she looks in the mirror to her body. And of course, with most women, if we were really to listen to what our head says to us, we would find out that a lot of those things are very negative. And there's good reason for that. But in particular, she was talking about her arms. And she was talking about how she feels she needs to cover them up because they're not toned. If they were toned, if she, slaved away in the gym and worked out every day to tone up her arms, then maybe she could wear a sleeveless dress. I bring this up because I know so many women feel the same way. So many women are worried that their arms look too flabby and then they just don't look good anymore. So therefore, they can't show their arms. Well, what I want to tell you is that those toned arms, they belong to one of the seven planetary body types. And that one is a woman who easily puts on muscle, loves to exercise. Having muscle, it just sort of is natural for her, and that is the Mars body type. Now, this is one of seven, and unfortunately what happens in our society is that we move through every 50 years or so a new ideal. And what I have discovered is that these planetary types rotate around the same way, so that one is sort of put on a pedestal, or you might call her the lead actress for a period of time. And right now we are living in the Mars era. Mars is the goddess of courage. She is strong, she is action-oriented, she's a warrior. She can be very fierce, direct, and protective of people, and really step in. Pound for pound, the Mars woman is definitely the strongest of all of the seven types. Well, for her, it's easy. It's easy to put on muscle. It's a natural thing. And the explosion of athleisure wear, athletic clothes, high-tech gear, yoga clothes, all of the sports that have become such a prime part of our existence are because the Mars woman is the popular type. Now, if we just reverse back 50 years ago, even 70 years ago, we would see women who don't have toned arms and shoulders in the advertisements. Now that is all that we see. And our Marilyn Monroe, for example, was not someone with buffed arms and shoulders, and she was considered a beauty. So all of this to tell you that if you're striving to have really toned arms and you're not a Mars body type, you will be frustrated. Some of you don't even like to exercise. I mean, your idea of exercise is to go out and take a nice walk in the fresh air and get your breathing going and, your blood circulating, but to go into the gym and train with free weights to get, buffed biceps, not your idea of fun. Women are so diverse. We have it all. Okay, we have physiques that range from voluptuous and curvy to very straight-lined and strong. We are intriguing. We are wonderfully complex as women, and we possess a dazzling array of talents and gifts. But our eyes have dulled to the beauty of our diversity, and it is because of this ideal beauty concept that we have kind of failed as women to recognize the beauty in each other, that there is beauty in all shapes, sizes, and personalities. So I want you to remember that, well, actually, I would love for you to know your planetary type, because I think once you do, the light bulbs will go off and you will realize, oh, well, I'm supposed to be this way. I'm built for this. I'm not built to be that way. And then you can embrace yourself. Now, I've been in the style industries for such a long time. I've done a lot of things. I designed clothing. I created a makeup company. I had intense training in image design and color analysis and photography, makeup, and all of those things that I've done. But I've never really been happy with the way that the fashion and style industries have treated women. They have not done much at all to empower women to celebrate themselves. Being told you are a pear or a rectangle or an apple shape isn't exactly empowering, is it? So I looked to something different to try and give you a new lens to see yourself. And I discovered the planetary types, gosh, almost 30 years ago. And it took me 10 years to research and write the book about them. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about them now and see whether you can relate. So our first type, Mars, she is the popular one right now. She is the goddess of courage, and her body is built to compete and to be strong and to protect and to defend and to be truthful. And that is why she has this muscular, well-balanced body. And she is action-oriented. So that is our Mars type. And in more videos coming up, you're going to learn a lot more about these types and be able to identify what you are. And I will give you examples of famous women that embody these types in body and soul. The next type, one of my favorites to talk about, is Jupiter. Jupiter is the goddess of majesty. She is like the Queen Mother. And Jupiter is not a tiny woman. She is a large woman. She has large bones. She is strong with a broad back, a full bust, and a body that is meant to show up in the world. Because Jupiter has a huge vision of life. And she is expansion-oriented. Jupiter is the one that can have a vision and enroll people in her vision around her and get people to do things and lead them. She truly is a leader. If you're a Jupiter woman, you need to be in charge of or ruling something, because that is what you are intended to do. And in this case, again, being large-boned and being large is important, because a Jupiter woman has large energy. And so her body is able to inhabit, she's able to inhabit that big vision in her body. The third one is Saturn. And Saturn is the goddess of integrity. Saturn in the mid-20th century was the ideal. She is the very androgynous type, very yang in her style, very more masculine. She doesn't have a lot of curves. Typically, the Saturn will be tall and straight up and down and very structured. In her, you can see her bone structure in her collarbone and her face and her elbows and knees and everywhere. So she is a woman who has integrity, and guess what? She is naturally very structured, naturally very disciplined in her life. She can organize, and having that kind of physical integrity and bone structure, prominent bone structure, lends that sort of energy to what she is doing. She's tall. A lot of very tall women are natural leaders because people look up to them. So Saturn is also an important leader in the world, and she is less apt to be emotional and more apt to be run by her mind and her instincts about how to structure and organize. So the next one is Mercury, and Mercury is the quick, speedy type. She's usually petite and small. She has long legs and a straight little boxy torso, and she is built to go fast, to communicate, to network, to spread out, and to find out about things. She's very curious. Typically, the Mercury will use her hands a lot, and she'll talk quickly, and she's the type that's always ahead of everybody else in what they're thinking and in drawing conclusions, because her mind is so quick. So having these long legs and little straight boxy torso, it suits her because she's a fast mover, a fast thinker. So they fit together. She's also more of a yang type. And then we've got our Venus woman, who is curvy and voluptuous, and she is the, oh, sorry, forgot to tell you, Mercury is the goddess of perception, strategic perception, and she is fantastic at that talent. Moving on to Venus, Venus is curvy and voluptuous and very yin, and Venus is the one who is the goddess of harmony. She's built to luxuriate in beauty, to create beauty. She is built to slow down. She doesn't have a very fast, clicky pace, but she is built to open her eyes and appreciate the beauty around her, listen to people, absorb their words, their conversation, and her curves and the way that she walks lends itself to that sort of sensuality and that sort of appreciation of the world around her. And then we move on to Lunar, and Lunar is a very special type. She is the goddess of reflection. So Lunar is someone who is very yin, and she has very little structure to her body, very little bone structure showing, curved, very curved, round eyes, a small round chin, her shoulders kind of slope. She has a softer body. Lunar, believe me, is not one that loves to be in the gym, and is not one that is meant to be a brute and be strong and be toned. She has a completely different energy and a completely different kind of purpose. And the fact that she moves quite slowly and carefully helps her, because her gift is to assimilate and to analyze things. And she's very intuitive, so she can take things in and then think about them and then express them back to the world. Lunars are also very creative. So I've given you, oh, and our last one, sorry. Our last one is Solar, and Solar is the goddess of light. So Solar is the one that when she smiles, her whole face lights up. And there are 2 types of each of these 7 types, but I'm not going to get into that now because it would be too much for you to take in. But she has a high level of vibration. She kind of lights up the room when she comes into it. She's extremely creative and born to be seen on stage, to perform is her gift. Typically, Solars will have large eyes and kind of like a dancer's body, nimble and very flexible and able to move, and she just loves to create. So if you spot someone that her whole eyes, her smile, she just lights up when you see her, when you talk to her, you know that she has got a lot of Solar in her. And each of these types together, we create a whole. We are each other. We are opposite, we are the same, but together we create the whole, just like the yin and yang symbol. And let me review them for you. So there are yin types and yang types. So the yin types, the most feminine is Lunar, the goddess of reflection, Venus, the goddess of harmony, and Jupiter, the goddess of majesty. The yang types are Mars, goddess of courage, Saturn, goddess of integrity, and Mercury, goddess of perception. And then we have Solar, who actually sits in the center of the yin-yang symbol, and she is the goddess of light. So I hope this has pricked your interest, because I would love to tell you more and for you to be able to celebrate who you are and not just be thinking of yourselves in terms of how you don't measure up to what the ideal is, because the ideal is going to change. And this is really about not only embracing your own beauty, seeing a purpose for your body and the way that you're built to help you reach your goals and to help you express your talents, but that you will begin to see and appreciate each other. Women of all different sizes and shapes see each other's beauty and appreciation for what each of us as women bring to the table of womanhood. If you are interested and would like to know more, I am starting up a new group program on April 10th, and I'd love to tell you more about it. You can click on, I will put the link for the program that is featured in my services section of my web page, and also I'm available to talk to. So I hope you have a great day, and I hope that you will be able to look in the mirror and maybe a little more start to realize that your beauty is under your control, that you don't have to be beholden to the definition of beauty that's out there in our society that wants us to feel less than and disempower us. You are powerful. You are a stellar beauty. Go rock your world, and we'll see you next week. Bye.